Hey, it's your boy JB back in the building. Gotta roll the windows up. There's a lot of traffic out there. Coming back to you with another video, the Relationship Doctor. You know, what's crazy is this topic is about the crazy things we do for love. Now, I know a lot of y'all can relate to this. Like, you know, have you ever fought over a woman? You got so jealous and outraged. Like, you got money, you got a nice car, you got clothes, you thorough brother, and you got this woman that you can't get out your mind. Like, she's like she make your stomach turn. You sitting there, you out there, not. I mean, some of y'all might be real stalkers. I'm not judging nobody. I mean, you know, love is crazy. Love hurts, but not stalk them in the sense of, you know, like follow them everywhere they go. But you know, drive past the house, see if you get a glimpse of them walking out the door or something, and act like you accidentally drove through that way. You know, honk at them, be like, hey, I'm just driving through this way. Knowing that you went there purposely, or you drive there every blue moon just to see if you get a glimpse of that woman that you used to, be in love with, or whatever. And then, you know, you think about her, and then you get in a new relationship, and you like, dang, what if I did this different? What if I did that different? You know what I mean? Because, you know, a lot of us is punks when it comes to that. You know, as far as, we don't want to look like we sucking up to somebody. You know, we are as macho men. You know what I mean? We don't want nobody to have the upper hand. So we think somebody, you know, men are funny. You know, women will come back to you. Like, they'll say, you know, hey, I've been thinking about you, blah, blah, blah. But men, you know, they'll be like, they got their pride. You know what I mean? Well, most men, I know I do. You know what I mean? But, you know, sometimes that pride is what, you know, actually got us, you know, separated from that loved one. You know, right now, you know, I'm chilling. Like, I ain't trying to get in no relationship. I'm dead serious, cause love do hurt. You know what I mean? I might say, oh man, you running, blah blah blah. You ain't, you know, you a punk. You know, like, far as not a punk like that, but a punk as far as, you know, you got to, that's what happens. You know, so. But, you know, I'm not getting no rush until I want to fall into a relationship. Like, I want to get, like, mold into it. Like, I want to just be in it without me knowing that I got into it. As far as a lot of y'all can relate to this. Like, you be with somebody and you ain't got no intentions on being with them. Like, you like, all right, well, you know, it goes, whatever, see where it goes. And then you just fall yourself into it. You know what I mean? It just happens, and then you find yourself in love. You know what I mean? I don't like to rush things, or, you know, that, you know, because when you rush things, they never seem to turn out right. You know what I mean? Especially when you don't know the person that you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get to know the person that you deal with. Somebody you're gonna be with for the rest of their life. And I like those relationships where it just molds, it just gels. Y'all just together. Yeah, you ain't saying you together. I don't like when you know, I think you wish yourself bad luck when you see somebody, you be like, oh man, I'm gonna make her mine. Or she sees something, or she see you. Because a lot of those relationships, they falter after like a month or two, or if it lasts that long. I've had relationships that falter, like, you know, we got together, and a lot of people, they talk about how it's not good to have sex in the beginning of a relationship. It's going to happen sooner or later, you know what I'm saying? And it's not going to be the thing that holds y'all together. You know what I mean? Y'all could have some, you know, neighbors call my name sex, you know, breaking, screaming, hollering and stuff like that. Y'all could be broke up in like 2 or 3 days, because it's the person's personality. Y'all got the gel on that note. Y'all, you know, sexual wise, you know, unless you like, you know, yeah, you think I'm saying? Oh, but you could be this, and be the bomb. I don't know. I'm not a woman, so I wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? Woman is strange. Woman, it ain't because it ain't about that. You know what I mean? That you know what I mean? It's about, how, y'all fall in love emotionally, because like I always say, sex is only 1 hour of the day. What you gonna do with the other 23 hours? You know what I mean? Like, because I've been with women that was, that was the bomb. But I'm trying to get the hell out of Dodge after that, so I'm like, okay, pew. You know what I mean? That's why some men get hookers, you know what I'm saying? And they get the baddest looking joint, and they be like, they get their joint off, they get their rocks off, and they good. You know what I mean? They ain't trying to hang out with them. Because I'm an intellectual. I can't just be sitting there talking to somebody that's not, I hate to say on my level, I hate to say talk foolishness. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk about real husbands and housewives. I want to talk about something real. I want to talk about something that's going to uplift me. I want to talk about how I'm gonna grow mentally, physically, and spiritually. That's what I want to get into. You know what I mean? And you can't have a relationship with somebody that's not into growth. You know what I mean? They worried about what's going on in today's world. What's the latest hairdo? What's the latest fashion? The celebrity news and all that stuff. That stuff doesn't intrigue me. I mean, when I was younger and I was young and, how do you say it? Young and dumb, wet behind the ears, breast smelling like Similac. You know what I mean? That interested me. Now I've evolved. You know what I mean? I took the red pill. So that doesn't do anything for me. So I need somebody that's going to intrigue me mentally. You know what I mean? That's going to get me, get the brain cells moving, get them things activated. I can't get activated off of watching some old dumb TV show or talking about that and this, things of that nature. So, but back to, things we do for love. I've done that. That's why I just don't want to be getting with anybody, because I want somebody that's going to be, as far as I ain't got to chase them. I don't have to we get in an argument, it's this disagreement, and we talk about it civilized. Not nobody that want to come hit me with a frying pan or something, bust me upside the head, scratches, or curse me out and call me all kind of names, or we try to degrade each other. I want somebody that's going to try to, we're going to be on an intellectual level, like, okay, we can agree to disagree. You think that the moon is made of cheese. No, I ain't going to use that metaphor, because, that's stupid. That's dumb talk. You have a political view, and I got a political view. This is your way of, you think how we should create wealth, which is, I respect that, but it might not be my way of how you create wealth. Or you might think I should go back to school and learn this. I might think I might be interested in this. So, it's all ideas that we share, like different people could share with each other. You know what I mean? Like, I might look at my opposite and say, I think you look good in wearing certain clothes. She might disagree. That's my opinion, and but it's her body, and so she got to go with what she thinks best. I can, you can have an opinion, like I said, with anybody. She might, just like you ever see the shows where the woman trying to dress the man, she picking out the clothes for him and stuff like that. That's not good. It's okay to suggest, but you don't want nobody being angry. You want everything to run smooth. You got to compromise, as far as you got to respect each other's wishes. Unless somebody's dressing like crazy, then you shouldn't even be with them. You think they dressing crazy where they're embarrassing you, or her clothes too small. And that's the problem I had. I had a lot of women that don't want to. I'm waiting for somebody, so I'm waiting for somebody to come out and pick them up. I'm up here, way up in the Northeast. But if you with somebody and they think they dress half butt naked or something like that, like that's a problem I had, and so I always ran into that roadblock. I don't want no woman that I'm gonna call my woman that's gonna dress bad, that's not gonna dress appropriate. And I would dress appropriate for her. You ain't gonna see me button down shirt, tight jeans, you know what I mean, showing my manhood and all that stuff. You know, wearing some young boy dumb stuff, you know what I mean, that I'm too old for. I'm gonna dress appropriate, you know what I mean? And so I wish my opposite do the same. You know, so that's one of the things I look at when I meet a woman. I'll be like, this ain't gonna work. I'll look at her the way she dresses. I'll be like, she'd be cool to talk to, whatever, but I'm not even gonna try to wife that. You know what I mean? That's a no-no, because I'm not gonna sit there and try to change no grown person. You know what I mean? Now that's for, you know, you could change children. You know what I mean? You could tell them, you know, you could guide them, you know, the right way. But once a person get a certain age, you can't change them. You know what I mean? Or if you do, they might make them upset. Then the relationship is not going to be right. So I like them to already come ready. You know what I'm saying? I know how to dress and be appropriate. You know what I mean? So that's this the truth. You know what I mean? So like I was saying, you know, things you do to you know, you meet that woman, and then you going through hoops. You know what I mean? You know, trying to keep her. You know, that's crazy. You know, I don't like doing that. You know, that's a waste of time. You know what I mean? You with some woman, and you got to do all kind of crazy stuff to get with her. So, you know, that's you know, I'm a little too old for that. And I'm much more sophisticated to be chasing some woman around. So I like to have my woman, you know, already, you know, been through all that, don't want to go through all the BS and all that stuff. Just regular, just want to be, you know, do the right thing. You know what I mean? Agree to disagree, you know, we have fun. If I don't want to go somewhere, I don't want to feel like I'm forced to go somewhere. You know what I mean? And likewise, I don't want to make her seem like she forced to do things. You know what I mean? That's not going to work in no relationship. Everybody has their own mind. That's why I'm staying single for right now, because I don't want to go nowhere I don't want to go. I don't want to do nothing I don't want to do, and I don't want to wear nothing I don't want to wear. You know what I mean? I want to be free to do what I want to do. You know what I mean? So I'm not ready. You know what I mean? If you're not ready, if you're not willing to compromise and nothing like that, I suggest you not be in a relationship. Keep it 100. Be like, look, I like doing me. I like doing what I want to go. I like going where I want to go. Just tell them right up front. Now, if you want to roll with that, you know what I mean? Then cool. Then, you know, but see, there's a flip side to that. Now, how if the woman tell you the same thing, you got to be willing to roll with that also. It's not a one-sided street. So that's the way I am. I'm willing to roll with it. Okay, we'll see each other we want to see. But I ain't kicking out no dubs. You know what I mean? And I don't want her to kick out no dubs. You know what I mean? So that's the way that cookie crumbles. You know what I mean? So, but with that being said, I'm going to let y'all go. This is the Relationship Doctor, giving you a little advice. Peace out.